Hello, Brian.
I got to tell you, this is before we get started. I have to say, early happy birthday. You're a
Well,
couple days early, but happy
thanks
birthday.
for reminding me. Yeah.
That's always the fun
Yes.
part, right?
I share a good day with Martin Luther King and George Burns, and of course it's inauguration day, so we'll have
Indeed.
an yeah. So a lot of stuff going on my birthday.
So, with your birthday, and real quick, do you have special plans, or you're like, okay, 2025 is going to be really busy for me. I'm dropping the album, and I'm just going to hang around the house with the wife.
Um, I will hang around the house for a few hours because Tuesday morning I'll be packing on Monday because on Tuesday morning, bright and early, I leave for Gothenburg in Sweden. I have shows next week, so
Oh,
I
wow.
have a busy week to celebrate my birthday.
Okay. I want to start real quick and just tell you something.
Am I going to like it?
You are. No, you are very important to me and my
Oh,
wife.
oh,
I met my wife in '89, and we, fought like cats and dogs like teenagers do. And you guys dropped Anytime later that year, and it became our rallying cry. And it is
oh,
now our song and has been ever since then. We loved Save Yourself. Awesome album. But
oh, thank you. Oh my God.
Anytime was, it literally was that song for us. I don't know, most people have a song. And that was ours, and it still is to this day, and it means a lot to us. And it's weird because she was as excited for me to interview you as I was. We've listened to you guys for so long, and all the way through, all the years, including up lately with Black Swan and even your solo stuff. So you meant a lot to us, and you've been a big part of our life. So I just wanted to
I
let you
am,
know that.
I am touched, and I don't say that lightly. Thank you so much. Um, I'm sorry to be so intrusive in your lives, but I'm happy to be at the same time. So thank you, and thank your wife, and I wish you many more years of happiness.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been 35 years since that
Oh my
album
God,
dropped.
we just hit my wife and I, Gina, just hit 31 years. Been together for about 33 years. So
Yep.
we're right there. We're right there with you.
So do you allow, just real quickly, do you allow that kind of thought to come in as an artist, to go, how important that you are to people that you've never met, or we've seen you in concert several times, and do you allow that weight to kind of
Ooh,
to take that
that,
in?
that's a good question. I don't know if this will make any sense to you, but right at the time, and I remembered, some things like you stay with you
Hmm.
because of something special. And I remember when that song came out first, and I was up at the Capitol building, Capitol Records in LA, and Michael and I had a whole day of interviews. And one of the journalists came in, a young girl, mid 30s ish, and she immediately got straight to the track Anytime.
Hmm.
And just as she said Anytime, she broke down and started to cry.
Wow.
And and I felt really bad and no idea what was going on. No idea. I knew it wasn't from sitting in my presence, and I mean that in a funny and yet serious way. And we tried to console her, and she said, "You have no idea what the words of any time has meant to me and my husband."
Wow.
And I went, how do you respond to that? Because here you are sitting in front of a person you're expecting, well, tell me about your record. Well, it's 12
Hmm.
inches, got a hole in the middle of it, it's plastic and it spins around. And then she gets straight to it. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is sometimes when you put pen to paper or you put a melody and a lyric to a piece of music, um, you're in a zone, you're in a place that
Hmm.
you find yourself in order to create that if that's not too pompous.
No.
And then you put it out there because it means something to me at the time in that moment, and then it goes out into the universe, and people will listen to it or not,
Hmm.
and it has so many different effects on so many different people because you don't know where they are at the time, what position, mentally, physically. Um, and initially, I never gave that a thought, never gave
Hmm.
it a thought. And after that one interview with that one journalist, it changed my perspective, I think, from then until here I am now. And there is definitely power in words, that is for sure. There's
Hmm.
definitely power in words, and there's power in the way that you deliver it. And when I listen and have listened and still listen to Lou Gramm, for an example, over the
Yes.
years, how that man delivers a song, and you can almost I can get goosebumps because I can hear
Yes.
those lyrics and I can hear how he phrases it, and it immediately zings me, and I'm going, "Oh my God, did you feel that?" And that's what it does to me, and I think, and I'm nobody, I'm no Lou Gramm, and I'm none of the above, but I do write songs, and I write melodies, and um, thank you for those compliments. There's some people that you never ever get to meet. Um,
Right.
and they will tell you about it, and it means something. I go, wow, really? My sisters say the same thing to me, and going, you ever think that this might affect somebody? What you're writing, And my wife Gina, by contrast, we have a little joke that runs on every time I make a record, and she
Hmm.
will always go, "Is that about me? Is there a song about me on there this time?" And I always tell her every song is about
Every
her.
song is, of course.
um, but it does. It does. I love words. I love melodies. I love sentiment. I'm a big old soppy bear at the back of it. Because I have feelings, and I know that other people have feelings, real hard, honest to God feelings, and sometimes I don't want to say you have to be careful what you write. Read the Bible. There's a lot
Hmm.
of powerful stuff in there, or not, as the case may be.
That's
Or just
actually
read it.
coming for later. I actually have a couple
Yeah,
questions about that because of the new album.
yeah. And you read the headlines. That can affect you in different ways. So emotion is very broad, isn't it? It covers a multitude. Just one word can cut like a knife, as they say, to use the cliche. So, but there are some songs that will stick with you a lot more than others, and for different reasons. They'll
Sure.
always, when you like something, it takes you to a place,
Yep.
and only you sometimes can explain what that place is.
Yep.
And you can tell somebody about it, but if they've never been in
No.
that place,
No, and when you're there and that
oh, that's
song
cool.
actually speaks to that moment, it's that
Yes,
that is an indescribable thing. So,
yeah, I agree.
Soulbound, February
Yes,
28th.
yes. On
I
Frontiers
get
Music SRL.
That's your third solo with Frontiers, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I never
Uh,
wanted to do the first one, and here I am, third in.
Here you are on the third. Uh, it drops the 28th. I got the
Yes.
pre-screener for it.
Uh huh.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely amazing. And I already have my two favorite tracks off of it.
Oh, I'm dying to hear that.
It it is different than what I thought it was going to be. To me, it's much heavier,
Yes, it is.
lyrically too, and
Yeah.
and emotionally and sonically too. It's a very heavy album.
Yeah. So that was intentional. Basically, I released Standing on the Edge, the first one. I went, what am I going to do? I have no idea what I'm going to do. Honest to
Mhm.
God, no idea. Put it out. It was well received. By the time I got to Alive, I was a bit more comfortable in the chair, and I really liked the Alive record. I loved the lead track. Um, and then I had the same writers. I had Alessandro Del Vecchio, who was the stable guy at Frontiers label, the in-house guy to go to, the songwriter, And then we branched out and brought in different musicians. And Alessandro found a guitar player, Andrea Cerveso, because he's also a great studio engineer, in addition to being just a great guitar player. And I really liked what I heard. And I went, I want him all over the record. And when it comes up to Soulbound, I said, I really want to push Andrea to the front. I want to hear much more of his guitar because I just like what he plays. I love his tone. And about midway on the record of getting it done, Alessandro leaves the label, and then I meet Aldo Lenobile, who's now the new in-house guy at Frontiers, and we struck up a great relationship. He's a great guitar player. He introduced another guitar player, Alessandro Momola, who's just off the hook. He's awesome.
Yes.
So we had decided we're just going to, not just because Aldo is a guitar player and that might be his jam of, more guitar. I work with Michael Schenker, for God's sake,
Right.
So you got to be good. I'm used to been around good. And so I really wanted to push that, and I think we succeeded. There was 11 songs that we had picked. Aldo came in and he goes, I think we should look at least another 5 or 6 that I have. Maybe you want to take a look at those. And I'm always really open because, it's never a closed box. And so he sent in a bunch of new tracks. Soulbound was one of those tracks. And it was written by 2 Swedish writers, Teresa and Jan Eckerman and Teresa Persson. And I didn't really like the demo too much, but I loved the music. So I said to Aldo, can I re-demo this and do it how I think I would do it? And he goes,
Okay.
Have at it. So I did send it back to him. And then I liked the title so much, I said, I really would like to use the title as the record title as well. And I kind of structured everything around that then a little bit. And it's the only track that stands out that probably has keyboards on it, more of a symphonic approach. Because I like that too. And the rest is more guitar driven. So it was a great deal of fun putting it together and making an advance in terms of the output and the sound and the sort of edgier approach to it.
Do you like the being in the studio? I mean, is that something that you go, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this? Or is it more about, okay, I want to create great music so I can get to the road and get in front of people? Because to me, you've always seemed to be, there are a few artists that just seem, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I heard a beep. There are a few artists that just seem to be alive in front of a crowd, and they just hit a different gear. And musically, they sound better live than they do recording. Like, if that makes sense, that you can't capture what people do live in the studio.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, were you one of those that likes the art of studio recording, or is it just, I like recording, but my main passion is being in front of people?
I love the stage. I love the performance. There's a connection you have with a live crowd that you, for obvious reasons, you don't get in the studio. It's just you and the microphone you and the microphone and the engineer. And I was telling somebody earlier that on my solo records in particular, it's just me and the engineer, Andy Zuckerman, who works with me throughout all of my solo stuff. And Andy, when I decide on what tracks I'm actually going to record, then the label, Aldo in this case, will send him all of the stems into the studio. I set up a time with Andy. I come in to record my vocals, and he has absolutely no idea what it is that I'm going to sing because he's not part of the writing process. He's
Sure.
my engineer. So I'll have to sing the whole song so that he can map it out. And he goes, verse, there's the pre-chorus, there's the chorus. And is this the solo? Is that part here? And then we will map it out. So once I start singing, he knows. He goes, okay, that's the verse. Now we're moving into the next section.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's a very lonely world when you're solo, as opposed to
Hmm.
the Black Sabbath stuff, because I have Jeff and Reb around me, and they've got lots of input, and it's a different energy to get to the end game. So I think it's important to. I love the studio,
Hmm.
and it's good to take new material that you've recorded out onto the live stage. And I'll just give you a very quick example. I headlined a Firefest in Manchester in the UK in the
Okay.
middle of October, and I had put together a band um, to do the show with me. And I walked into the rehearsal room, never met these guys before. We'd met on record because we'd recorded different songs
Okay.
together with a different label. But we never actually worked together, never
Hmm.
met each other before. And we had the set list, and I think they spent 2 days running the songs, learning the songs. And I came in for my 2 days, and then the show was on the Saturday. And I walked into the rehearsal room, and they went, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I got rid of all of the pleasantries, and they started playing, and it sounded just like the record. And I'm going,
Oh,
are
no
you kidding?
kidding.
And I stopped them, and I went, dudes, you know? And they go, yeah, man, we put a little bit of time into it, but we love the songs, so we're trying to really recreate the energy that you thought that belongs to the songs.
Mhm.
And everybody was at the show was going, dude, it sounds like the record.
Nice.
And I'm a stickler for that. I don't like
Hmm.
going to a show where somebody's playing a song that I really like. It doesn't sound like the song at all because it's a live lesser version. I like the energy. I think the audience gives you the energy, takes you up several notches. I love festivals. I don't think there's anything to compare to festivals because it's just so many people in the same place at the
Oh, yeah.
same time, and
Well,
the
it's the
energy.
energy, right?
Oh my
When
God!
you
It's
have that many people in that big of a crowd,
oh my
and
God! It's
you're all in the same mode of
you're in
focus.
there together. Oh my God! It's like one big mosh pit. It's just
Yeah. And there's
it's
an
just
energy to it though,
oh
and there's a community to it, and that's actually, and I've talked about that quite a bit on the show, that that's one of the things I miss here about that used to be ritual, right? You go to a concert, it was floor seating, no assigned seating, and it was, well, we called it circus seating back then, but uh, and it was the energy though of being around 20,000 of your closest friends,
yeah.
and everybody knows the songs, everybody knows what's coming, and it just, there was something about it. You were there as part of a collective group of fans, and there's something about that, and I kind of miss that. There's some of that. I mean, we have some festivals here, but not like in Europe.
I'm not abashed to say that there have been countless times, especially in not just in festivals, but because there's more people there, that
Hmm.
people will start singing along with you, and I would get so sideswiped emotionally that I would choke up, and I'm going, this is ridiculous. I can't do
When they
this.
sing your song back to you.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going, this is just me. I can't even imagine what it must be like for like if you're Scorpions or if you're like Metallica or Bon Jovi or something. And I'm going, this is just me, a nobody, up here doing what I think I do best. And there they are singing, and I'm going, who knew? Who knew? And there you are in the moment, and you're going, I swear to God, I walk away and I'm going, did that just really happen? You know,
Wow.
I'm a kid from nowhere, Ireland.
Hmm.
Um, and am I supposed to be doing this? And am I supposed to be hearing them singing those lyrics that I wrote? Getting back to your earlier point, and there it is, and they're singing away, and I'm going, huh. I can barely remember the lyrics sometime, and there they are. So it's oh my God, that never gets old, Brian. That just never gets old.
Real
Um,
quick, the cover of, and I had to mention, because the cover artists never get mentioned, and Derek Riggs from Iron Maiden is one of my favorite guys.
Excellent.
But the artwork on this album
Yes.
is incredible.
Thank you.
Who did that?
So
that
same artist that did Standing on the Edge and
okay?
Alive, and same artist on this one. And he's from Italy. He works a lot for the label, but not exclusively. And his name is Nello Dell'Omo, and he is amazing. When I did Standing on the Edge, it was right at the pandemic time. I wrote it throughout the pandemic time. And there's a strange irony from then to where we're at now with the LA fires. And there I had gargoyles on the top of the building looking down on a burning city. And I'm thinking, whoa, dude, I got goosebumps. Now that here we are for the third, and the city is burning. We came into Alive. When we came to Alive, just a short story. I love vampire movies. I love old Hollywood. I love old Frankenstein movies. So I wanted to create some sort of an incubator, bringing life together. But it was also a different kind of message. It was a positive message that we start off small, but we can grow very big. And it was just the creation of life. That's what it was. And then of course I fall into the rabbit hole. I'm thinking, oh God, there's so much going on in the media right now about women's rights and everybody else's rights. And I'm thinking, oh shoot, if I have a baby in an incubator, I'm going to be, I'll be blindfolded and shot by the time I wake up. So you had to be so careful about how you treated the artwork. But Nello was right there, and he goes, I got it. I know exactly what you're trying to do. And I went, lots of electricity. We got to bring lots of electricity into that. When we came to Soulbound, I thought, you know what, this guy is so good. I'm just going to throw out the darkness and the light idea. And I said, so cliched, but I want something a little bit gothic, a little bit sort of, higher and bigger and better than me. And I went, have at it. That's all I told him. And he came back with this, and he goes, how is this? And I went, there's a little bit too much light here, and I love this, all of this. And he says, I listened to the songs, and this is where I think your head is, and this is where we're at, and I think it's amazing. Yeah, I think it's amazing. And it suits the record so well.
To me, I got to tell you, the first thing I thought of, I've just spent the last 4 months rereading Milton's Paradise Lost.
Oh, my God.
And as soon as I saw that, I said, wow, that's book 2. Long as the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
Amen.
And if you look at it, it's perfect. And I'm like, was that his inspiration? What? Because it fits it perfectly.
I don't know if it was his, but it was kind of mine, and I didn't want to tell him about it too much because I didn't want to influence him.
Sure.
Much, and I went, and you always have this, will he catch it? Will he get it? And then I needed to give him the space, the artistic freedom to go, oh, I got it all right. And he's there and I'm here. So, you have a language issue maybe sometimes. But he came back and he goes, is this what you mean? And I went, oh boy, what were you like inside my noggin?
That's when you get that feeling, you go, okay, this is right. We're on the right track.
Right?
Are you going to be releasing a vinyl version of it? I saw the digital online that people can pre-order, but can are you going to release a vinyl version?
Yeah, so Frontiers does an amazing job on the vinyl work. They're just beautiful. It's a great collector's thing to have. Plus, I've signed a ton of inner sleeves already for vinyls as giveaways, and if you buy this, you get that sort of thing. All of those links are on Frontiers Music SRL. You get all of the updates on what's available to you. But yes, absolutely the vinyl, and I've signed a lot of the CDs already too, so they will be available. And when it's possible to, if anybody sees me on the road, whether it's in Germany or Spain or Sweden next week, we'll do our best to have some signed copies and whatever you need, really.
So you're going to be touring behind this album?
Yeah, I started last year. I start next week. I leave Tuesday for Sweden. I come back. We're planning on roughly around a dozen shows in the UK solo. March, I will be on the Monsters of Rock cruise with MSG, with Michael Schenker.
Nice.
Um, After that, April 25, 26, 27 in Milan, Italy, is the Frontiers Music Festival. And I'll be on the third day, on the Sunday, at the festival. And then when I come back, um, we may try to segue into some shows in Italy directly after that, but I have
Mhm.
shows in Germany. August is pretty busy. Germany, Spain, and I think the UK again. So,
Any
um,
U.S. dates planned?
so there's talk about from the MSG camp that there may be a US tour at the back end of 25. Um,
Okay.
if that happens, I may or may not be on that. Eric Grunwald might be on that. I'm not sure yet.
Hmm.
Um, but we're working on my solo stuff. I'm getting a lot of questions from promoters. Why aren't you showing some U.S. dates? And I'm going, well, why aren't you calling me?
Florida. Florida.
Yeah, we would love to. We would love. You know how it works in
I
the
do.
real world. The promoters need to be interested. The promoters need to feel comfortable that they'll sell a ticket. You know, McAuley's out as a solo artist. It's not out with MSG. So can we?
Yep.
What can we do? What can we do? So that's what we're trying to put into perspective and make a reality. And nobody but me would love that more to happen.
Awesome.
And Florida would definitely be up there on my. It would definitely be on my best. Yeah, we can make that work.
Oh, that would be so great. Um,
And bring your wife.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, that would be a moment. That would be a moment.
Real quick, and I just a couple more things. Two favorite tracks off your album, and I know you just the first video is "Till I Die," which is
Yes.
actually a very good video, and it's doing well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very fun, a little bit apocalyptic.
Uh, actually, so Filthy Taylor from Motorhead was a very dear friend of mine. Played in a band together with Filthy and Brian Robertson when they actually left Motorhead.
Hmm.
And I was looking at the cover of Ace of Spades, and I was listening to Ace of Spades, and I'm going, "Ha! I would love to channel me some Motorhead outlaw cowboy
Yep.
into this video because it fitted perfect with the lyrical content, like running away from your demons. Will they
Hmm.
ever catch you? Where are you going?" It's like this sort of Quentin Tarantino sort of this sort of scape, you know. And then when we get to the cabin, it's got all of that eeriness about it. And I went, "This is what I want to do." Video guys are calling and they're going, "Okay, so we're going to set up a stage." And I went, "Nah, I don't want a stage. I don't like." They know it. They know me long enough. I don't
Hmm.
like. I don't like performance videos. I don't like standing up on stage and, "Ooh, this is me singing."
Pantomiming and yeah.
I don't like all of that. Even though I've done a trillion of them, I don't like them.
Hmm.
I don't even like photo shoots, you know.
Okay.
But I love the idea of the video, and I love the idea of mini movie, and I like that sort of thing. I'm a big Stephen King fan anyway.
Yes.
So,
Well,
you know,
that's what it comes across as a mini movie, and it's very well shot.
yeah, and that was the idea. We worked started early in the morning. It was really windy. Lost my hat many times. I had to chase across the field after it. Um, One of my sons said, "Dad, they have you running in the video," and I said, "Well, it was either that or get on a horse," and I wasn't going to do that. So we wanted to do that, and we wanted to go right through the day into the night, capture the cabin scenes. Yeah, and that's what we wanted to do to capture that. And I think we did a good job on that.
You did an awesome job, and it's
Yeah,
being very well received. Real quick, the 11th track on this,
yeah,
There Was a Man.
yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well,
Because I have my own thoughts, but
of
I
course you
don't
do.
want to
Yeah.
let you
Well,
know what they are. Please tell me your writing thought behind that. Because
yeah,
one, the heaviest track to me on the album, blistering, melt your face, and an awesome, awesome song. Everything
yeah.
about that song is perfect. So I love
And
it. So tell me about that.
so if you like the cover, then you like the song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where it's going. It's like I wanted it to be the last track on the record because everything else that I had said, it all comes down to the very last track of where you come from, what you have, and who we feel thankful to for
Mm-hmm.
everything that and for where I come, and I'm not going on a platform or a pedestal, but I'm always grateful for everything that I have, and somebody's responsible for it, and I know who that person
Mm-hmm.
being is to me, and it's just me going. There was a man, the story goes, and he had a plan, and thank God I fitted somewhere into
Mm-hmm.
that. And that's kind of what it is. I don't want to say too much because people go, dude, get off your
No, no,
pedestal.
no, and I get it, and that's exactly how I read it too. It was
I'm grateful. Yeah.
be grateful without being
Yeah.
soapboxy, preachy,
Yep.
right?
Yep. That's
I
exactly.
loved it. It's also face melting. It is
Yeah.
awesome. It's a very heavy tune.
Yeah. And since you got the artwork, you totally get that. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all part of that. Real quick before I let you go, I got to ask you just a couple questions. We talk a lot on the show about buying albums, and this new generation, they don't have the opportunity to go into record stores anymore and put their money down, which to me is a ritual and a rite of passage that you walked in, you put your money down, your first time that you were allowed to say, this is the album I want, this is the money. And I actually have the one behind me. You actually toured with them. That's the Peace of Mind
right.
from Maiden. That was the
Amazing.
very first album. That's actually the album that I bought. Very first one when I was 13.
Wow.
So, but what was the first album that you ever walked in, and if you remember, and
I do.
plopped your
I
money down
do.
and said, give me that?
Yeah. I can tell you exactly what it was.
Nice.
And there was a reason behind it. So I was young. I had a girlfriend at the time, and it was her birthday. And I had just discovered Creedence Clearwater Revival. And
Mm-hmm.
Up Around the Bend was a single on the radio, and I went, I have to get this album. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's her birthday. What do I buy her for a birthday gift? So I walked into the record store. I bought the vinyl, the full LP, and I paid my money for it. And I took it home, and I suppose I was about to wrap it. But what I did was I took the shrink wrap off it, stuck it on my turntable, started playing it, and I went, wow, this John Fogerty is just, this guy is just a monster. And then I started listening to one track and the next track and the next track and the next track, and I went, well, there goes the birthday gift. And
That's
that is a true story. She never got it. I don't think she actually ever got a birthday gift.
oh, that's funny.
I kept the record because, and I became a huge CCR fan. Needless to say, became a huge John Fogerty fan. And when I started playing drums at the beginning of all of this
Mm-hmm.
kerfuffle, and I used to cover a bunch of Creedence songs
Really?
because I was just, oh my god, it was just, and one of their best, or one of the best covers is that Marvin Gaye song, "Heard It Through the Grapevine." I mean,
Oh yeah.
what a version! And still
Mm-hmm.
stands up today. So there's my first. The next one was Thin Lizzy.
Oh
Let me
wow.
just say, yeah, because I saw Thin Lizzy when I was only 12, and there was less than 20 people watching them. Still as a three-piece, Eric Bell on guitar, still Brian Downey on drums, and of course, the great Phil Lynott, who told the best stories in the world in a rock and roll band.
You were 12?
I was 12. I was
Wow.
one time in my
Was
life. I was 12. I'm not 12 anymore.
was that your first concert?
That really would have been my first concert. Yes.
Wow. Now
Yeah.
that's a concert to go to
Well, it
first.
wasn't really a concert. It was in a tiny club in my local town, and less than 20 people. And I remember sitting cross-legged on the floor. That's how close to the stage we were. Nobody
Really?
knew who we were. They had "Whiskey in the Jar," which was an old Irish rebel song that they covered.
Mm-hmm.
Never
It's
got
been covered
aired.
so much now.
Yeah, never got aired on daytime radio in Ireland for obvious reasons. Radio Luxembourg in Europe played it late at night. And then it became a cult thing, and then it became a real song, and then Thin Lizzy became a real band. They had plenty of other stuff, but people locked into the old,
Oh
those
yeah.
Irish, those Irish, anything for a good old rebel song and a few drinks, you know.
Well, I want to thank you very much for joining me. This has been a
Yeah,
true pleasure. I know you got to go, and I don't want to keep you any further, but yeah, it's been absolutely awesome and a pleasure and an honor
thank you,
because
Brian.
you are great.
Thank you, and
And
thank your wife for everything too. Thank you.
indeed, thank you so
Phenomenal.
much.
Thank you, and
Um,
I'll see you on the road.
I hope so. I actually, we have talked about that quite a bit, and we're really hoping that you can make it here to the States because I don't know if I could go to Europe. So,
Awesome.
all right, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you, Brian. Have a great weekend.